Hi, and welcome to another episode of In Craig's Corner. Today we look at the readings for the third Sunday of the Holy Season of Lent in the Roman Catholic liturgy. Uh, the reading for this Sunday is really long. Normally I go through and read the whole thing and then I speak on it, but if you would like to look it up, it's the Gospel of John, chapter 4, verses 5 through 42. Um, it's an absolutely long passage, so I'm just going to kind of um, pull from it, but if you want to read it on your own, go ahead and do that. This is the story of the Samaritan woman that Jesus comes upon in a town next to the well. It's a pretty well-known story. This woman is a prostitute. Um, she's somebody that, again, uh, people of Jesus' time would not um, be around, would not associate themselves with because she's a sinner. She's somebody who is not on the path to God. And, uh, Jesus is one who doesn't really follow the customs of the time. In fact, on many occasions will actually deviate from the plan of God. But in this particular passage, Jesus goes to the woman of Samaria and asks her for a drink. And uh, first she says, you're a Jew, I'm a Samaritan. You ask me for a drink, why do you come and ask me for a drink? She doesn't understand why somebody of such high class or high social standing would lower himself to talk to her. He answers her by saying, if you knew who I was, you'd be asking me for a drink, for the drink of eternal life. But instead, she replies, you don't even have a bucket, you don't have any way to get to the water, so how can I get water from you if you don't have a way to get water on your own? Uh, she's, very skeptical of this person. And he answers her saying, uh, if you drink of the water that I give, alluding to the gospel and the truth of God's kingdom, if you take in this message, you're going to have eternal life. And she says, well, fine, give me uh, uh, this eternal life. I want it, so that way I don't have to worry about uh, trying to find the truth elsewhere. He says, go call your husband and come back. And she says, well, I don't have a husband. Well, he already knew this, and he says, you're right in saying you don't have a husband. You've had 5 husbands, and the man that you're with now, you're not even married to. Um, all he's alluding to all of the sins that she's had, all of the problems in her life, and she keeps going back to this well, this metaphorical well, and uh, digging deep for that living water, but she can't find it because she's looking in the wrong place. Uh, she's looking for it in sin. She's looking for it in the areas of her life that uh, it's all temporary. Uh, it's not founded on the truth of God. So he's pointing out that, look, this is not the way to live. This is not the way to be. You need to um, you need to reevaluate your life and find out where you should actually be getting your water from. Um, the truth. And she's like, well, I can see that you're a prophet, uh, and I understand that you know things about me. And Jesus says, you know, believe me, the hour is coming that you're going to have to make a choice between sinning or between following God and following the path of God to righteousness and holiness. And you don't get to do both. Uh, right now, you're choosing sin. You're worshiping something. You're following something you don't understand, and you think it's the answer. But at the end of the day, you wake up, or you go to bed, and when you wake up, you feel lonely. You feel like you're unfulfilled, and the stuff that you have accomplished in your life is empty. Uh, so you need to take that stuff and get rid of it, all that stuff that makes you feel empty inside, and find out what is more appropriate for you uh, in terms of following the pathway of God again. Uh, it says that the Messiah is coming, and I am he. And when he delivers this message to her, the disciples returned. They were all amazed that he was talking to this woman because, again, the culture of the time would have been he wouldn't be doing that. But they didn't interrupt him and say, "What are you? Why are you talking to this person?" Uh, the woman left and went into town, took that water jar. This time she's carrying that water jar with a different purpose in mind. And she goes and she says, "Come and see a man who told me everything I have done." She wants to get somebody else's opinion on this thing because she's not sure now. She's been following this pathway for so long that she thought was right, and all of a sudden one person comes along and disrupts that and says, you're not following the right path. So she wants somebody else's opinion. They went out to town and talked to this person, and this person, of course, being Jesus. And Jesus says that uh, you cannot uh, reap what somebody else sows. Uh, I can't eat of something that I didn't plant. I can't sell something that I did not reap. I have to work for my own salvation. I have to put it in. I have to allow God into my heart, and I have to let Him know that I am open to His life and His ministry. And the Samaritans began to believe Him because the woman obviously was changed by His message, and they began to be changed as well. They invited Jesus to stay with them because they they felt something different. They understood that uh, they needed to make a change in their lives, and that's the whole point of the season of Lent. Is we're going along, we think, oh, we need to be in this uh, uh, lifestyle. It makes us happy. It makes us feel good. It feels right for the time. But eventually we have to look at the bigger picture and say, is this where I want to be 20 years from now? Is this the way that I should be living my life? What is the problem with the life that I am leading right now? And again, Lent is that time of year when we reevaluate our relationship with God and find out where we are in terms of He and I. So the message that we can take away from this gospel reading today is sometimes we need to step back, look at the things that we've done, ask those around us, if this is the right way to be, or if we need to embark on a different path. And of course, we always need to take into account God's loving embrace and the fact that we can always return to Him no matter what we've done. How many of us out there are trying to look for water in places where we shouldn't be? How many of us are trying to draw from a well that in the end is going to leave us empty? Uh, Reevaluate, return to God, and build a relationship with the Almighty. With that, I thank you for sitting through another episode of In Craig's Corner. I hope you have a blessed Sunday.